the truth. You can't handle the truth. Truth.
And now, live from the Star Worldwide Studios Tower, overlooking the fifth largest city in America and heard worldwide, it's the Josh Bernstein Show. Liberal hypocrisy and leftist lunacy exposed and dismantled with intellect and facts. And now, here's your unapologetic host, Josh Bernstein.
So I get a call from one of the reporters yesterday, and they said, the president of Mexico said they will not, under any circumstances, pay for the wall. What is your comment? I said, the wall just got 10 feet higher.
So what could be the answer here? The experts that we spoke to say the way to go is pre-casted cement wall panels. Those panels would be lined side by side, sort of like what you might see on a highway. Each panel would be about 20 feet high, again 5 feet below ground, about 10 feet wide and 8 inches thick. Again, that wall would be stretching some 2,000 miles, and our expert says it would require 339 million cubic feet of concrete. And that's just for the panels. You're also going to need reinforced steel, at least 5 billion pounds. So what about the estimated cost? Because it hasn't been done before, let's use those highway panels as an example. They cost about $40 a square foot. That would end up costing about $10.5 billion. Sounds like a lot of money, is a lot of money. But again, remember, Donald Trump says the U.S. government wouldn't end up footing the bill on this one. It would be Mexico.
Welcome to another hard-hitting edition of the Josh Bernstein Show. The Josh Bernstein Show starts where the rest of the media ends. Now, I started today's show with the clip of Donald Trump and also showing how we could actually build the fence. Now, this election cycle, especially on the Republican side, we have seen unconventionality. We have seen a second-place person in Ted Cruz nominating someone to be the vice president as a last-minute hope and prayer. We have seen people talking about people's hand sizes. We've seen yelling and shouting. We've seen Little Marco and low-energy Jeb and Lion Ted and now Crooked Hillary. So we've seen a very unconventional, bold and brash race to this point. Now, we're up against Hillary Clinton, and we're up against the Hillary Clinton machine. Could she be indicted? I don't know. That would be the best case scenario. But assuming that she's not, she's going to pick someone as the VP to try to strengthen her ticket. I have called and said that it more than likely would be Julian Castro. I could be wrong, and if I am, well, I'm sure that he's going to be in the final running. I've now heard that it could be Bernie Sanders because they need the youth vote, because the youth do not like Hillary, and they need to be able to coalesce at that. Now, we've also heard reports that Bernie Sanders and his supporters do not like Hillary Clinton, and there's a fracture. And it's so funny that the media spent so much time talking about this unicorn contested convention when they really should have had the forthright to see that the Democrat situation is much more fractured, at least at this point. And maybe they'll be the ones that'll have the contested convention. But getting back on track and getting back on point here. You know, when Donald Trump announced his presidency, everyone saw a billionaire businessman who created jobs. He's created tens of thousands of jobs. He's built magnificent architecture structures all around the world. So naturally, you would think of him as the jobs president. But in his announcement speech, that all changed. When he said that we need to build a wall, we need to close down the border because Mexico is sending its rapists and murderers across the border. That was the big uproar. So what happened is the supposedly jobs president all of a sudden now turned into the border control presidential candidate. And rightfully so, because you cannot have jobs if Americans can't get jobs because illegal aliens are here taking all their jobs. So naturally, the American electorate was smart enough to understand that he can't be the jobs president until he is the border enforcement president. So he shot up to the lead because of these comments, because he was saying things that Washington politicians saw as dangerous or just flat out would never say. And that's why Donald Trump has risen to the top. That's why he's won this nomination. And hopefully, if we can get this party together, will be the next president of the United States. Now, what's interesting is that when he called to build the wall, a lot of people were shocked. They said, well, wait a minute, you can't build a wall. We don't build walls. We have open borders. And all the Republicans said, oh, you can't build the wall and this and that. But he said, I'm going to build the wall. And then his famous line, Mexico is going to pay for it. That's why I started the show with those clips. And it truly can be done. The wall can be built. Now, what I want to do is I want to talk about something. And because of the unconventionalness of this election and how bold and brash Donald Trump has been, one of the things that he said is that all these politicians are all talk and no action. And he's said it over and over and over again against every one of the 17 people that tried to take him down. Well, what if, being that this is such an unconventional election cycle, what if Donald Trump started to build the wall now? That's right. What if he started to build the wall now? What if he became the action border enforcement presidential candidate, as he says he will be when he's elected? You know, we've heard stories that he may change his tune, flexibility. Well, I'm not sure if I'm going to do all this. You know what? That's scaring some voters away. So what I would say to the Trump campaign is put the Obama administration on its heels, show the American people that your campaign promises are real, and start building the fence now. And I believe I'm the only person in the media that I know of that is calling for Donald Trump to start building the fence now. Now, logistics. How can this be done? Well, there's 1,989 miles of the border. In 2006, Congress passed the Secure Fence Act. And in the Secure Fence Act, it was supposed to erect 700 miles of double-pane border fencing, steel construction border fencing. Well, if you've seen any pictures of the border now, it is not. It's chicken wire in most places. It's, those seahorse wooden things set up that are 2.5 to 3 feet high that anyone could just pop over. There are some areas with the metal steel, but certainly not enough. So Congress lied to you. It lied to the American people. It said what it wanted to say. You contacted Congress. You said, build the fence. Congress listened, but they didn't listen. They gave you a wink, wink, and a nod, nod. And when you weren't looking, they decided to take the funding for the fence and appropriate it for other things. Now, they say that they're going to build the fence, but they never built the fence. So here's the bottom line. You've got 700 miles, 652 miles exactly of fencing being built. There's still another 337 miles that needed to be built, including double-pane steel wall construction. Well, that was never built. So this is why the border is a sieve. This is why we find ourselves. Now, how can Donald Trump build this now? Well, Texas is 1,254 miles of the entire 1,989 mile border. Okay? There's only about 100 miles of total fencing in the entire state of Texas. That is just ridiculous when you think about it. The three biggest areas that illegal aliens cross are in El Paso, Texas, Douglas, Arizona, and El Centro, California. Now, again, if you look at this from a standpoint of how Donald Trump can do this, it's fairly reasonably easy because of the fact that the people that live on the border in the respective states of California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas are being run over. Their properties are being run over. Their cattle are being killed. Their crops are being taken. They're being held at gunpoint in some cases if they don't allow people to come across their property. They're being mugged. There's smugglers coming through their property. There's been many ranchers that have had to defend themselves against the drug cartels and the coyotes. It's an absolute mess. So here's what Donald Trump does, and here's why this would work. Back in the George W. Bush administration, we had a defense secretary named Michael Chertoff. Michael Chertoff contacted about 600 private landowners in the state of Texas. And after contacting them and asking them, would you allow the government to build a fence on your property, 2/3 of those 600 landowners said absolutely. You couldn't build it fast enough. Okay? The other third or so said it would depend on how much money you're going to give me for my property, and I would want more than market value, or at least market value. Chertoff then said, no way, we're not giving you more than market value. And 10% of the people that were contacted said absolutely not, and they refused. So what if Donald Trump reached out to these landowners in the 4 respective states, found out who they were, contacted them, had his people contact them and say, look, I want to build and erect a fence that goes through your property on the southern border, and I'm willing to pay you money for your land for the use to do this, or buy your property for you at market value, or whatever it is, compensate you in some way. The majority of the people that own private property down there would be more than happy to do this, because they understand the failure of the federal government protecting people from coming across. So why doesn't Donald Trump do this? Contact these people and start building the fence now. Think about what that would do to the Obama administration. They would lose their mind knowing that Donald Trump started building the fence now. And they're allowed to do it. He'd be allowed to do it because it's privately owned property. Obama administration can't do anything about that. So that's what Donald Trump should do. And another reason he should do it, it would virtually guarantee him the win in November, because it would take his talk and turn it into real action. If anybody in the Trump campaign is out there, you need to start building the fence now. Another thing I said a while back is when we had the Brussels attack and Obama was nowhere to be found, I said Donald Trump should have flown to Brussels and talked to the people and did a speech right in front of everybody in Brussels to show real, true leadership. Donald Trump is unconventional. He's bold and he's brass. It's time that he takes some of these different things and goes out there and executes instead of being all talk and no action. Because the people are afraid that you're running one way and maybe when you get elected you're not going to do some of these things. Well, how do you quell those fears? How do you unite the party? How do you get the conservative base that doesn't want to vote for you on board? Build the fence now. That's how you do it. And again, the Josh Bernstein Show is to give advice, commentary, political analysis, and talk about things that nobody else is talking about. That's why the hundreds of thousands of people love to watch the show. So how does it break down? Well, you've got some natural borders with the Rio Grande. You got about 300 miles of the Rio Grande, so there's some natural borders there. The terrain itself, in some areas, about 150 to 200 miles or so, is a natural border in itself. So it boils down to this. You need about 934 miles of fencing in Texas. You need 179 miles of fencing in New Mexico. You need 140 miles of fencing in California. And you need to finish the 370 miles that was supposed to be done in the Secure Fence Act of 2006. 370 miles of fencing done in Arizona. That's a total of 1,623 miles of fencing needed. And this whole thing about Mexico to pay for it, it sounds great. And who knows, maybe he was able to do it. But at this point, who cares? He's a billionaire. Have him pay for it. That's what I would do. And if it's not Mexico paying for it, so what? So he broke a campaign promise. Big deal. He just built 1,600 miles of double-forced steel construction fencing to stop the flow of illegal aliens. I think we can forgive him for that. So that's what I suggest that he does. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back.
You're tuning into the Josh Bernstein Show, where Josh covers the news the way the liberal media would not dare.
Spotlight Ventures Media, turning brands into stars. The times, they are a-changin'. Traditional media outlets are no longer effective and are quickly going out of style. Today's top brands have become aware of the new media landscape and are reaching their customers where they are most active, online. Spotlight Ventures Media is a full-service internet advertising and online marketing agency. We turn brands into stars with personalized services aimed at getting your business center stage and captivating your customers. Our solutions are proven to engage customers, increase market share, and provide a measurable return on investment for your business. How do we do it? Retargeting. Spotlight Ventures Media specializes in retargeting. If a customer leaves your site before making a purchase, we keep their attention on your brand by customizing and placing your ads on other sites they visit and lead them back to your site to seal the deal. Get the exposure and sales your company deserves. Contact us today and send your brand strolling down the red carpet in no time. Spotlight Ventures Media, turning brands into stars.
Josh Bernstein here. You all know me as the hard-hitting and unapologetic conservative talk show host of the top-ranked Josh Bernstein Show. But did you also know that I have a softer side as well? I am proud and honored to be an official spokesman for a really great group known as the Association of Mature American Citizens, or AMAC for short. AMAC is a group focused squarely on meeting the needs and protecting the interests of America's seniors. We offer a conservative alternative on how to best solve the problems seniors face today. From saving Social Security to gaining more access and control over your health care, to answering your health-related questions and providing you with the products, services, and solutions that you seek. So if you are a senior 50 years of age or older and do not want more government-run and controlled healthcare solutions, there is another option. AMAC is better for America, and AMAC's got your back. AMAC.US. AMAC.US.
You're tuning into The Josh Bernstein Show, where liberalism is a mental disorder. And Josh is the cure.
Welcome back to the program. So the Obama administration doesn't believe that there is a global war on terror. They don't believe that there are terrorists in the world. They don't believe that there are groups out there like Al-Qaeda and ISIS and Hamas and Hezbollah and Boko Haram and some of these other groups. Because what they do is they call them overseas contingency operations. They don't call them radical Islamic terrorists, which is what they should be called. When there's a problem here at home, we find the Obama administration not calling it domestic terrorism. They don't see someone getting their head cut off in Oklahoma as terrorism. They don't see the Fort Hood shooter, Nadan Hassal, as a terrorist. They see that as workplace violence. The San Bernardino shooting was workplace violence. They don't see this as domestic terrorism. So now, the Obama administration is now telling us there's no such thing as rapists. There's no such thing as murderers. There's no such thing as bank robbers. There's no such thing as thieves. There's no such thing as sexual predators. There's no such thing as any of those things. Because now they are called justice-involved individuals. That's right, let me repeat that. The Obama administration is now calling people that have murdered, raped, pillaged, slaughtered No more they're not being called criminals. They're becoming justice-involved individuals. So John Wayne Gacy, Ted Bundy, Charles Manson, these are just justice-involved individuals. They're not criminals. They're not murderers. They're justice-involved individuals. You know, softening or diminishing the title of whatever it is that you want to call someone or something doesn't lessen the impact or the volatility of the act that they perpetrated. And the fact that they cannot call terrorists, they cannot call what happened in San Bernardino a terrorist, a domestic terrorist act, and now don't even want to call people that have committed horrible crimes criminals. They want to call them justice-involved individuals. No wonder our country is going down the tubes. This is absolutely frightening to think that they are so far to the left and with political correctness, they can't even call a criminal a criminal. They can't call a murderer a murderer. They can't call a sexual predator a sexual predator. Changing the language does not make the crime any less. Republicans out there that are still saying never Trump, we need you to wake up and realize that we've got to win this election. God forbid Hillary or Bernie Sanders becomes president. We're done. We are done. This will be the end. And this whole transgender bathroom thing is another example. It was never, by the way, about one person going to the bathroom or this group or that group being able to use this bathroom. It was never about that. It was about destroying our Christian Judeo value system. And the first step of that was the gay marriage rule with the Supreme Court. That opened up Pandora's box. And this is the result. Utter madness and mayhem under the Barack Obama administration. Folks, I can tell you this, hang on tight, because the last couple of months of this administration will by far be the most dangerous and the most rockiest. We'll be right back.
You're tuning into the Josh Bernstein Show, where Josh covers the news the way the liberal media would not dare.
It's 3 a.m. and your children are safe and asleep. But there's a phone in the White House and it's ringing. Something's happening in the world. Your vote will decide who answers that call. Whether it's someone who already knows the world's leaders, knows the military, someone tested and ready to lead in a dangerous world. It's 3 a.m. and your children are safe and asleep. Who do you want answering the phone?
I'm Hillary Clinton, and I approve this message.
I'm Josh Bernstein, and I approve this message.
Spotlight Ventures Media, turning brands into stars. The times, they are a-changin'. Traditional media outlets are no longer effective and are quickly going out of style. Today's top brands have become aware of the new media landscape and are reaching their customers where they are most active, online. Spotlight Ventures Media is a full-service internet advertising and online marketing agency. We turn brands into stars with personalized services aimed at getting your business center stage and captivating your customers. Our solutions are proven to engage customers, increase market share, and provide a measurable return on investment for your business. How do we do it? Retargeting. Spotlight Ventures Media specializes in retargeting. If a customer leaves your site before making a purchase, we keep their attention on your brand by customizing and placing your ads on other sites they visit and lead them back to your site to seal the deal. Get the exposure and sales your company deserves. Contact us today and send your brand strolling down the red carpet in no time. Spotlight Ventures Media, turning brands into stars.
Every once in a while, someone needs a hand. To hold. To comfort. To lift. All across America, people are joining hands with AMAC to support our nation's greatest values. Every AMAC member makes a difference, and the more who join, the stronger America will be. Stand with those who stand for freedom. Join AMAC. Better for you. Better for America.
Hillary Clinton, why did you give repeated stand-down orders in Benghazi?
You know, this...
Sorry. Sorry.
Hillary Clinton, why did you shred more than 30,000 emails on your private server? Hillary Clinton, why should the American people trust you? Hillary Clinton, choking on her own BS and lies since the 1990s. I'm Josh Bernstein, and I approve this message.
You're tuning into The Josh Bernstein Show, where liberalism is a mental disorder. And Josh is the cure.
I think it's...
All right, go ahead.
I think it's a...
Now, wait, what flavor do you have?
I have regular. I have regular.
You have regular, the puffs or the cart?
What?
Do you have the puffs or do you have the
No, these are
crunchy, original flavor?
Yeah, this is original flavor, and they've been crushed. So...
You're not going to get very good coverage that way.
I think you are.
I don't.
Welcome back to the program. So I started this last segment here. We'll do a short segment, and then we'll be done for the day, with Glenn Beck and his antics with the Cheetos. This is a video that went viral all over the place. I think it stems from the fact that there was a interview on Fox News a couple of weeks ago, and actually I even mentioned it too, where Donald Trump had a ton of makeup on. I don't know if they were doing it on purpose to sabotage the interview or make him look like, you know, an orange-faced clown or whatever it was, but it was really, really noticeable. I mean, he was like literally like a pumpkin, okay, in front of the camera. So obviously it got a lot of airplay. They were saying, you know, the makeup was ridiculous. And we know that Glenn Beck is no fan of Donald Trump. So to take a cheap shot at him, he decided to get him and his crew around and dunk their face in Cheetos. Look, why don't you attack Glenn Beck and you never Trumpers? Why don't you take this energy, this vitriol, this viciousness, and direct it at Hillary Clinton? Why don't you start doing that? Why are you tearing down the nominee for the party? You're making it that much harder for Donald Trump to win. And I know there's many of you out there that are never Trump, no matter what. You don't care. I guess you want 4 radical, progressive, collectivist, socialist Marxists on the Supreme Court that are going to get rid of your First Amendment right to even put Cheetos on your face, to even hashtag never Trump. You guys are idiots. You want to be able to protect yourself? You want your Second Amendment to survive? It ain't going to survive with 4 or 5 leftist judges on the Supreme Court. Wake up. Realize it's not just about the candidates. It's about a lot much more than that. Look beyond the faces of the two parties. This is an election. If you look at this election, not as conservative versus liberal, not as Democrat versus Republican, forget all that. Forget about the labels. This is an election about nationalism and Americanism versus globalism. It is a simple choice when you look at it from that perspective. One person is a nationalist, wants to protect America and put America first. The other people are globalists. They want to sell out America's interests. They want to give the United Nations power over our U.S. Constitution. They want to disintegrate our borders. They want an open border society because a globalist society cannot survive if countries have borders. That's what this is about, folks. Wake the hell up and realize it. This election is about nationalism over globalism? Which one are we going to choose? I hope to God that we choose nationalism over globalism. And if you look at it from that standpoint, if you tell these never Trump idiots out there that there's a lot more than just the parties at stake here. America is at stake here. Our freedom, our prosperity, and our liberty, and our future, and our children and our grandchildren's future are all on the line. Where are you going to take and roll the dice? Are you going to roll the dice with Donald Trump's 4 or 5 picks for the Supreme Court? Or do you want to go with Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders? I think I know the answer, if you're watching this show, to that question. Now, before we wrap up, two other things. This is not really related to politics, but in some ways it is, because it's financial. The Atlanta Falcons. God bless the Atlanta Falcons. Go ahead and roll this clip.
The Atlanta Falcons are set to offer the lowest concession prices in all of major team sports. Bottomless soda, a bottle of water, popcorn, and a pretzel, all of which can normally cost a small fortune, will be offered for $2 each. A cheeseburger and beer goes for $5 each, while pizza and waffle fries will be sold for $3. According to Team Marketing Report, in 2015, the average price of beer at NFL stadiums was $7.42, and soft drinks were close to $5. Worse, at Super Bowl 50, a premium draft beer was $15. And a slice of pizza was $10. Yes, a slice of pizza. The new menu goes hand in hand with the opening of Mercedes-Benz Stadium in 2017.
Okay. How about that, huh? Is that amazing? They're building a brand new stadium for the Atlanta Falcons, and they have decided to listen to the fans. They have decided to listen to the people that go to the games. Look, you practically need a second mortgage to go to a football game. I was just in Orlando this weekend. I heard it's $100 a ticket to go to Disney World or Disneyland. I think it's Disney World and Epcot Center and all that. I wasn't in Orlando. I was a little north of that, which I'm going to talk about here in just a second. $100 to go to Disney World. It's $15. It was $15 for one beer at Super Bowl 50 and $10 for a slice of pizza. So God bless you, Arthur Blank, for doing this, for realizing that it shouldn't be a financial burden to be a spectator at a football game, at an NFL game. $2 hot dogs, $2 popcorn, $2 pretzels and waters. Beers are $5. This is what it should be. I mean, these are the prices in the late 80s, early 90s, and this is what it should be. You know, go to the game, enjoy the game, but you shouldn't have to worry about how am I going to pay my bills now because I just took my kid or my family to see an NFL football game. So God bless the owner of the Falcons. One more thing here before we wrap up. I had the pleasure, as the national spokesman for the Association of Mature American Citizens, to fly out to the Villages in Florida. Absolutely beautiful place. Never saw so many tricked-out golf carts in my life. It was pretty amazing. But we had a great rally, and the rally is for H.R. 4140. It's called the Seniors Act. And what it does is it gives a 1% increase to seniors and veterans, retroactive back to the beginning in January of this year. You know, the federal government got a 1.3% federal raise for their pay. With groceries going up, prescription drugs going up, health insurance premiums skyrocketing, seniors did not get a cost of living adjustment in the past couple of years. It is ridiculous. It is unconscionable that we treat our seniors and our veterans this way. So please, go to amac.us, www.amac.us, or you can go to contactingthecongress.org, contactingthecongress.org. It's a website. It's got a drop down. Find your state, find your representative, and contact them and tell them to take care of the seniors. Pass H.R. 4140, H.R. 4140, the Seniors Act. And let's show America that veterans' lives matters and senior lives matter. That's all I got. Until next week, God bless.
Thank you for joining The Josh Bernstein Show. Unabashed, unafraid, and unapologetic. Holding America to a higher standard. For more information on The Josh Bernstein Show or to connect with Josh, just go to StarWorldWideNetworks.com.